Bonjour à tous, Indian Cinema Events, Grenoble Indian Film Festival. Je vous présente un autre court-métrage qui est donc un court-métrage qui a été à la CINEF en 2016. CINEF, court-métrage signé Saurav Rai qui est avec nous. Donc, je suis ravie d'avoir Saurav. Qui a fait, alors Saurav a fait l'école de Satyajit Film and Television Institute qui est à Kolkata. Donc, il est de cette région-là, de l'Inde, un peu dans les montagnes par là-bas. Très, très belle région, vers Assam, Darjeeling et tout cet endroit-là. Il a fait donc un film Gudh qui a été en sélection officielle, je vous disais, à la CINEF. Très joli film. Depuis, il a donc fait des longs métrages, deux longs métrages qui ont également voyagé un peu partout, hein. Donc, ils ont été à Busan. Il a reçu un prix au Festival de Karlovy. Il a été également à Hong Kong, à Rotterdam et plein d'autres festivals. Donc, nous, pour le moment, on est concerné par son court-métrage Gudh qui a été à Cannes. On va maintenant passer en anglais et je vais lui poser quelques questions. So, I was just explaining how Gudh came to Cannes and tell us a little bit more about how all this happened and what you experienced.
Sorry, come again. Like you want me to talk about like after good or like about like
About Gudh, because we were delighted to have it at the Grenoble Indian Film Festival. Thank you very much for giving it to us. And so
Mhm,
I think the viewers would like to know a little bit more about you,
mhm.
maybe the film student who got your film into La Cinef and what it felt like, because it's a prestigious institution, obviously, yeah.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. So yeah, first of all, thank you, Sonia. Lovely, uh, like to talk to you like this. I think good was a as a part of a student diploma as a course of 3 years of direction and screenplay writer. We're supposed to make film within 30 minutes. So like when the project came along, I was muddling with different kind of ideas. Let's say there were few of which I was working on, but then something shifted when I went to my home village in Darjeeling, and I was in those mountains, secluded for 1 month without electricity, without much of internet, and I was reading, like let's say, Tarkovsky's Fighting in Time, the famous book. And he talked a lot about about life in general, about temporality, about the space. And all of a sudden, like while returning, I had just 1 week in my hand and I had to submit the screenplay. I did not have. But there's this thing, like me as a human being, I was brought up by my grandparents in different city because of the political upheaval in my village. So that discord of being brought up by my grandparents of not connecting my mother was always there. So what I did in those 1 month, after 1 month, was like I just wrote different memories which I had in my childhood and kind of wrote those images and in a very incoherent way. And I submitted those to my professors and in the film school. And they were like, beautiful images, but doesn't make sense. I said, like, okay, let me try to make sense out of it. So that's what me and all the team members, the cinematographer, the sound designer, the editor put try to put forward. So when we had the film, I had an absolute confidence because in a sense that I love what I did. It, it did not follow any kind of convention of a narrative, and most importantly, it catered to my emergency of my necessity of connecting with my mother. It was kind of my tribute to my mother, my village, and my grandparents. So yeah, when you do work like this, it's extremely very painful, and but at the same time, it's extremely honest. And even after like let's say 7, 8 years, I'm still proud of this work. Like at least it was very honest.
And it's very beautiful. And shooting outside is no small deal. With organizing everything, and you're depending on nature, you're depending on so many beautiful things that come across in this lovely film. How was it filming with this little kid?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we had this little boy in my village, Ajay, who I met for different reasons. That we are basically relatives, or at least known to each other in the village circuit. So I had met this young little boy who was very naughty. So while making good, like I wanted this kid, and so I called up his parents, and yeah, this kid somehow it was difficult to work with him initially, but once his father, explained to him whom I was in relation to the village, in a sense, like we were kind of an uncle and nephew kind of relatives in that sense. So from that moment, you started giving me respect, and from that moment, I think it changed. Otherwise, he was just taking me for a ride in general when I went to village, just like that.
I wanted to know because when we met and started collaborating for the CINEF and us promoting you there, um, 2016 was a year when we decided that maybe people don't know this, but can, when you're in official selection at the CINEF, invite you only for a couple of days. And we decided with Indian Cinema Events that we were going to fund, the maybe your stay so that it could be
Hmm.
easier for you. And at
Hmm.
the same time, we had Abhiroop that we were also sponsoring out. So do you feel that the fact that you stayed there maybe for the whole duration of the festival, that helped you?
Definitely, definitely. Like we support like that, and I'm ever thankful to you, Sonia, for that. Like, as a film student, like having that kind of support and exposure and can, like, of course, it was all confusing when I reconnect all those days, but it is extremely important, to understand what it's like to be as a filmmaker, to be in one of the biggest festivals in the world, and to navigate. Uh, it was a chaotic. It was at the same time mind opening, like how serious, cinema meant. Like being a film school student, like we are kind of spoiled. Like, we get to see all the films of different genres, different filmmakers from the different parts of the world. But here I was at a festival where everybody was, somebody else. So everybody wanted to do something. So yeah, it was amazing, like just to be there. And yeah, I took a lot from those days, from that
When you
experience.
go back, now that you've made features that have traveled the world to other
Mhm.
big festivals, now you have seen every aspect of what it is to make a feature film.
Mhm.
What is your advice to people coming to Cannes at the CNF or with a short film? I'm only going to be speaking about short films because this is so important. Are you going to tell them to network, or are you going to tell them to focus on something on particular? What's your advice to them?
I think from my experience, like first of all, I would like to say make something which speaks to you, make something honest or something which you want to make desperately. And second all, like first try to network, try to meet important peoples, research, do well, and meet the people, stay humble. And at the same time, the most important thing which I will like to advise is just enjoy the whole process and just be there. Don't think about what after this, or just be there for whatever project you are there, or even if you go there just to see around, observe around. I think enjoying the process is so important, which I see like after, let's say, 10 years after the can. I think that is one beautiful realization. You need to be in the moment and you need to enjoy, you need to observe. At the same time, not be too ambitious. Just be there, stay humble, stay hungry, and just enjoy the process.
Do you feel that being an official selection at the CNF has helped your career? Now, looking back at this as a starting point, do you feel that it gives people, you know, faith in your work, in the quality of what you're going to be doing? You're very regular, and uh, you you're very how can I say, loyal to your vision and the way you want to make your films and your stories and what you want to do. You're not been you've not run after the biggest producers and collaborated just at any cost with anyone. So your choices, how have you made your choices depending on you're starting with Ken?
Yeah, you know, once people know that I've been part of a last year for Cine Foundation, they will definitely take me seriously. Like I did benefit a lot, like applying for different funds or applying for a different co-production market. Like it's just that it works a lot in your favor initially, but once that goes off, once you debut with your first feature, for in my case, I'm done with my second feature, working on other projects now. It does help you a lot initially, but eventually, I think every like you are as good as your last work, So like you just have to keep on outdo yourself, or at least try to do what you want to do and do better. For me, that's have been the journey. And like yeah, it's a different thing. Short film is a different ball game altogether, and feature works are different. Like it's a larger canvas. But yeah, honestly, the gaze it has to remain the same. Like eventually, who you are, and between in midst of all this, the mistakes which you do, which are also very important. If you learned of it, or you still don't learn, then you again repeat the same mistake in your future projects. Then finally you learn. So the process is on and on.
Thank you so much for being with us and sharing these experiences that you've had with Cannes and La CINEF. Thank you immensely for giving us this film that people are going to discover. I keep saying that we need these films. We need to be coming back to the work that there is that people have put out there. Do you go back and have a look sometimes at your short and to just
Mm.
memorize these moments that you've had filming?
I mean, it just feels like yesterday only. Yeah, like when I walked that red carpet, and like it was a very juvenile thing, like all I was literally all over the place. It's like for me, like you can see, Javier Dolan over there, you can see Julia Roberts, you can George Clooney. Apart from that, but I still remember the moment when I watched the film with the Darden brothers for their particular project 2016, The Girl Unknown. And for me, that was the highest, point of that plan. Like, can you imagine, like, just be in the same space as somebody who you have literally, looked up to, Darden brothers. So yeah, of course, those days never goes off, and hopefully, yeah, we will return again by doing some more work.
So after 30 years, India was in the main competition 2024 with Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine Is Light. But what many people didn't know while they were congratulating her is that she started off at the CINEF section, school films. So
Mhm.
before this, no light was shed on anything. We in 2016, when we were promoting your film, do you remember that we didn't have many Indian people in the audiences at the CINEF, right?
Mhm.
So would you say something about that and ask people to be alert and film students to, go and discover the CINEF and to be careful about what they're bringing or to, submit films at the CINEF?
Of course, like first of all, in CINEF, like the film school which you are studying has to submit on your behalf. Apart from that, there's a different short film section. Again, the competitive section, which is also there. And by all means, people should apply. And like, if you look back into the illustrious career of other filmmakers like Nadim Labaki and all, they were all in CINEF. They were all in CINEF. Like, to all the like regular can filmmaker in different sections. They have been part of LASINEF, including the recent file, So yeah, it's a very important sections. Of course, the jury, the great artistic director don't select the film just like that. They do have certain artistic qualities, certain kind of integrity, and yeah, those works are extremely important. I remember the works which we were together in CINEF. Some of them has gone to be beautiful films, feature works in the recent years. So yeah, it's very important. And in that sense, not only last CINEF, like every short filmmaker is important. Every short film is important. Yeah, we should pay equal attention and give love and respect and time to that medium as well.
Thank you so much for participating, Saurav. It's lovely catching up with you. And stay in
Likewise,
touch. Now you're part of the Gudh Indian Film Festival family. You were always part
lovely.
of Indian cinema events, and now you're part of this family. And we're super happy that we're getting to see this. I'm really excited, and I'm waiting for people to see your film and tell us what they thought of it.
Lovely, lovely. I hope all lovely audiences out there will see you. There's something out of it. I'm looking forward to response. You tell me after the
I
screening.
will. Thanks very
Sure.
much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.